What's up, Get Better Basketball community? I'm Coach DeMarco, and this is Focused. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to blitz a ball screen using game film from Creighton University's dominating win over Ohio University in the NCAA tournament. If you want to learn how to blitz a ball screen in order to put more pressure on your opponents and keep them off balance by changing your ball screen coverage, then you're not going to want to miss this episode. But before I jump into it, make sure you hit that like button down below, turn on your notifications, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great content each and every week. Now it's time to focus in on how to blitz a ball screen. In this game, Creighton decided to blitz ball screens for two reasons. One, to take advantage of some of the weaker ball handlers by Ohio, as we see in this clip, but also they wanted to take the ball out of Jason Preston's hands. Preston scored 15 points a game this year with 7 rebounds and 7 assists and shot over 50% from the floor and nearly 40% from three-point range. So many different reasons why you might want to blitz a ball screen, and we see 2 of them used by Creighton. So as we pause this clip, we're going to see the blitz by 2 of the Creighton defenders here. You're going to see the post and then also one of the guards for Creighton who's coming over the top. When you blitz a ball screen, you want to fight over the top of the screen and really try to get on the hip of this offensive player. The second defender can really do one of 2 things. In this instance, the angle of the post defender is going to be a little bit similar to a soft hedge. And what I mean by that is his hips are going to be flat. Typically, when a ball screen is blitzed, I like to see this defender be a little bit more aggressive at the basketball and kind of angle his hips with his butt towards the sideline, not completely to the side, but at a little bit of an angle. And it's really these 2 players can kind of smother this offensive player who you can already see in this clip is on his heels, kind of looking to back up here because of the aggressive play. I think when you think about blitzing a ball screen, you're thinking about really trying to double team this ball handler. And that's the primary purpose of it. Different than a hard hedge where this defender would get out and show with his butt to the sideline and then really impede or stop the progress of this ball handler. And then he would immediately sprint back into the paint and the tag defenders would help. He'd sprint back in and then pick up his defender. When you blitz a ball screen, you're going to double team it for a little bit longer. And like I said, you can be flat like this player is here, a little bit less aggressive. And Creighton actually will blitz it and then have this player work back off. A lot of teams, when they blitz a ball screen, will keep these 2 defenders on the ball like a true double team. So a little bit of a wrinkle by Creighton, but you can do whatever works best for you and your team. I like to be more aggressive. And typically you have these other 3 defenders who are going to have to defend 4. Oftentimes you like to have them maybe in some type of little triangle. You might want to have a defender here and then 2 defenders on the block. Depending on where these players are, you can have them as true interceptors like you would in a typical pressure defense, like a diamond press with 1 defender playing 2. It really depends on what you're trying to do. Here, we'll see a little bit of that triangle look by Creighton. This is going to be the high tag defender. We're going to have a low defender here. They're going to create a little bit of a wall for this player who's cutting down. And then obviously these 2 defenders are really smothering the ball. And we're going to see it result in a turnover and a bad pass in this situation. As we watch it through one more time, watch this really good double team here by Creighton forcing a turnover. So now that we had a chance to talk about the basics of blitzing a ball screen, I want to show you what teams typically do when defenses blitz. In this clip is a great example. You're going to see Preston here with the basketball, who's Ohio's best player, as I mentioned, 15 points per game, really great stat line, had some great games this season. And you're going to see Creighton a little bit more aggressive here. And I believe that's because the ball is on the side of the floor. We know that teams typically like to hard hedge and almost blitz side ball screens in general, a lot of teams. Sometimes you'll see them ice it as well. Virginia being a great example of a team that hard hedges side ball screens. So this player in the middle of the floor was a little flatter. You're going to see him turn his hips and his butt to the sideline a little bit more here to be aggressive. And what that's going to do is open up an opportunity for the offensive player to slip to the basket. We're going to see our tag defenders in line here. You have your high man and your low man, which you really need to do when you're going to blitz a ball screen. You need these players in the paint, and they do a nice job getting in position. And it's actually going to be a tough catch leading to a turnover. As we take a look at this again, I want to show you what Creighton does well here. These two defenders do a pretty good job making that a tough pass, and they're forcing Preston back on his heels, as we saw in the last instance. They don't give him a lot of space to make that pass, which makes it difficult. And then the next thing, once that pass is made, the tag defender is in position. He needs to get there. The original defender is turning and sprinting. And now you look at this guard here. He has to play two and rotate to these two. And he does a really nice job reading the eyes of this offensive player. And he's going to cheat over there and get in position. Nice job by a tag defender. Looks like deflecting that pass. And Zagorowski's going to get the steal. So let's watch this through one more time at full speed, because I think this is a great clip to learn from. You have the blitz and the rotation. Great job by Creighton. I have a couple more clips I want to take you through, and I found this to be an interesting one as we watch it play through, because you're going to see multiple opportunities to blitz. There's the first one, and then there's a second one forcing them to rotate out on a shooter. So let's break down this set here. I think Ohio does a nice job trying to confuse Creighton's ball screen defense. They're in a horn set here, and they're going to set that first ball screen. And they're looking, Creighton, here to blitz. And actually a pretty solid screen, almost knocks down the defender here. He's going to recover, and that's going to be the first opportunity to blitz. And then he has to get over the top and stay with his player. Then we're going to get a handoff, a dribble handoff into another ball screen. And ideally, this defender wants to get over the top, but he can't. I actually think that Preston, who's a great shooter, might have been able to pull up behind this screen. You see the original defender who blitzed the first time. He's now going to try to blitz this second ball screen. And there's eyes to the basketball. And this is tough because these players are in their triangle now, and they're trying to defend the other four players who are really set up in basically a box look, which is tough because there's a chance someone can be open. I do think this defender probably could have taken a step or two out. And if they're watching film, they might have talked about that, because you have the guard, and you also have a chance, because the ball's way on this side of the floor, for this defender to get into the paint a little bit more. They don't do that, and they do give up a three-pointer, although Ohio doesn't score. Creighton is doing a really nice job blitzing these ball screens and putting a lot of pressure on Ohio, and I think really speeding them up on offense. They had to guard multiple actions here and do a pretty good job in this possession. A lot of coaches talk about how they like this angle, and I'm one of them, because you get a great look at the floor in this possession. And here's what I want to point out to you. So we're going to see a ball screen, and this is Preston again. And I talked about the pressure that Creighton is putting on Ohio. So you're going to see the blitz is coming, and here's our triangle in the back. And, you know, sometimes it's based on the alignment of the offense, as I said, but really you need these two low players to be able to get out in the corners and also help tag any type of roll to the basket. And then it's nice to have this point player here who can cover any type of action back up to the top. Maybe it's a pop from this player if the offense has a good shooter, which would be another way to attack teams that blitz ball screens. So there's just a number of different things teams can do, but having this triangle is a really nice safety net when you want to blitz. What I want to point out here is that I think Preston has a chance to maybe reject the screen, maybe jab and go and attack the middle with an opportunity. If this player cheats in, this player works with him and slides left, maybe it can be a kick out for a three or one more. But in this particular instance, as I mentioned in the last clip, I think Ohio starts to speed up because their ball screens are being blitzed. And we're going to see Preston here just fire a pass to one of his players that results in a turnover. So let's take a look at this again. You can see he's hesitating, not sure what to do with the basketball, and eventually just throws a quick pass out here to the corner. Player's not ready for it, and it results in a turnover. That has a lot to do with Creighton and what they're doing defensively. I mentioned you can blitz a weaker ball handler because you feel like they might turn it over. But teams, and me specifically, I like to blitz teams that have really good point guards to take the ball out of their hands. And that is exactly what Creighton's doing against Preston in this clip. As we watch it through one more time, you'll see the hesitation and great defense by Creighton. I want to show you this clip because I think it highlights what Creighton was trying to do when they blitz ball screens. So we're going to see Preston take a hard dribble, and he actually picks up his dribble. Ideally, he widens this player and splits him, or potentially, resets the offense. He could back out here and reset it. He could attack this player's hip, knowing that it's a post defender. Maybe he's a little bit quicker, and maybe he can get his shoulder by his hip and attack these two defenders and have a kick out, or maybe they fly out to their players and he gets a basket. There's a lot that could happen here, but he picks up his dribble, and as soon as he picks up his dribble, this defender is going to sit for a second, and then he's going to recover into the paint. This is different than what a lot of teams do. Obviously part of Creighton's game plan, which is why I wanted to show you this clip specifically, because they wanted Preston to pick up his dribble. They know he's dead. Instead of leaving two players on him, they want to recover into the paint and be able to get matched up and kind of fix it, to use a pressure defense term. What I mean by that is get matched up with the players they want to get matched up with. That's fixing it. They don't want, I think this is Zagorowski down here, on this bigger defender. They want this taller post defender to get in here and get matched up. So once he sees Preston pick up his dribble, he's going to turn and sprint back into the paint. Unfortunately, they give him his dribble back here, and eventually it's going to lead to a foul. That's Creighton's game plan as we watch it through full speed, and it works for them in this game. I would rather keep this player on the ball and really put pressure on him to make a pass out of a double team. The other players do a nice job getting in position. I don't know that anyone was open. One final clip here, and I think this one really highlights the pressure that Creighton put on the basketball, as we saw in an earlier clip when Preston makes a very quick pass. The last time it led to a turnover, and it doesn't this time, but you can see that he is recognizing the blitz. Again, side ball screen, so this defender has his butt to the sideline. We know teams like to hard hedge on a side ball screen. Creighton is blitzing in this game. So this defender is almost in the same position as a hard hedge. At the top, we saw his hips flatter. He wanted to be able to defend the open court a little bit better because it was in the middle of the floor. Here, he's really trying to pressure this player and keep him on this side of the floor. By turning his hips here, he's essentially cutting the floor in half. Preston is going to throw this pass across the court, and he's a great player, and there's a great story behind his rise to being a star at Ohio University. And I think this really highlights what blitzing ball screens can do to even the best players. They're putting pressure on him that he doesn't even want to put the ball on the floor, and he's great off the bounce. He's going to just make this pass across the court, which almost results in a turnover. That's a lot to do with the pressure that Creighton is putting on the basketball. And look how nicely they rotate out of that double team with everybody getting matched up and them fixing it, as I mentioned earlier on in this breakdown. We know that this is going to result in a three-point opportunity, and Creighton does a nice job securing the boards. This trend continued through the game, but if I'm Creighton, this is what I want to see. I want to see their best player not put the ball on the floor, just pass it across the court, and them take a tough contested three-pointer. As you watch those clips, you have to recognize what a great defensive team Creighton is, how they're blitzing the basketball and really smothering the offensive player, not giving them a lot of space to work with, and also how they're rotating on the passes to fix it and get matched up. The one difference that Creighton does in this game from a typical team who blitzes ball screens is they double team the ball and then they quickly work back to fix it and get matched up. A lot of times when teams blitz a ball screen, they keep this defender on the ball. This strategy worked for Creighton, and I love that in this video, we had an opportunity to take a look at how to blitz a ball screen and also a wrinkle that you can add in if you're worried about fixing it to get matched up. You can double team the ball, they pick up their dribble, and you can immediately have that defender turn, run back into the paint, and get matched up accordingly. Creighton does a great job defensively against a very good Ohio University team. And if you blitz ball screens like this, then I believe you'll be able to do the same thing by keeping your opponent off balance and putting pressure on them throughout the basketball game. Even if you don't want to use it for a whole game, this is a great opportunity to change up your ball screen coverage in an ATO situation. And sometimes that's exactly what I would like to do. If you have any questions, make sure you drop me a comment down below. I love hearing from the Get Better Basketball community. Hit that like button, turn on your notifications, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great video breakdowns each and every week. As we watch March Madness, I can't help but notice how many great shooting teams there are out there. If you want your team to become the best group of shooters that they can become, then I sincerely recommend that you invest in a Dr. Dish all-purpose shooting machine. Mention the Get Better Basketball chat or hashtag GBetBBChat for up to $300 off select Dr. Dish shooting machines. You don't want to miss out on this great opportunity. As always, get better every day.